Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem Makakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, the elders, and the men of great millstone. Shalom to the Akim and a few Akwath who may be listening. This is your brother Batakallah from the GMS camp here in Chicago, coming back at you with another video through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. Lord willing, this is an edifying lesson. All right, as you can see, the president, Donald Trump, also referred to as Nero, has passed the bigger, better bill. And a lot of brothers been going in on this, but, I think it's important that it gets mentioned because a lot of things are getting ready to go down. The Apostle Tahar was going in on it. And, he had shared a video that a brother did where the brother was evaluating a man who was going over what was actually in the bill and all the things that were going to get taken away. And, plain and simple, the vintage is about to fail for these people, man, roughly paraphrasing. Okay, especially for you women, but for all you people in general, because, it's not just public aid that's being, cut drastically. A lot of people are going to have a health insurance cut. A lot of jobs are going to be cut. A lot of the things that they're going to be teaching in these schools is going to change. As the Elder Malcolm always says, they're going to take the critical race historical facts out of the schools now, pretty much permanently, at least based on what it says. Quote unquote, all the things that they deem woke will be taken out of the schools and out of the textbooks. So you already know they're not going to talk about the struggles that we've gone through as the Lord's people, you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans who are the biblical Israelites. These things they're going to try to erase these things out of the books, man. All right. Fortunately, the men of the Lord are out here to continue to teach that, but eventually that's also going to be taken off the air. All right. We will be going and coming in, we will be coming into the famine of the word soon. And, certain brothers are going to get locked up. The Apostle Tahar went into that. Prepare your mind to get locked up. Prepare your mind to get put to death. Get comfortable with understanding that these things can happen. And, get comfortable with these things as if they are going to happen. Of course, we got faith that the Lord is going to fight for us. But some men are going to be martyrs and some men are going to be put into prison. And the best thing for you to do is to just prepare your mind just in case you may have to deal with that. All right. But all of these things that they're doing, the price of groceries is going up. These tariffs are making the prices of everything else go up. All these things that they're doing is ultimately going to lead to civil unrest, which is then going to lead to martial law, which is then going to lead to, soldiers being in the street. Like I said, martial law, people getting put to death, people getting locked up on a massive scales. And all the while, World War III is still going on. All the while, the MOTB is still being put in development and is going to be pushed and forced onto the population of the earth, And then, shortly after that, Yahweh Shai is going to return and destroy this place, all right? But we're just going to get a couple precepts, make this quick, because I got to go to the plantation. This is 2nd Esdras 15 and 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. All right, so that's not only talking about World War III, that's also going to be happening here in America. There's going to be race riots and race wars with all of these new things that this this big better bill or whatever the fuck it's called is going to bring. These people are going to start pointing the finger at one another. All right. And it's going to cause, uprise in the streets. There's going to be a shortage of bread. It's going to be a shortage of everything. And that's also going to cause uprise in the streets. All right. Verse 16. For there shall be sedition among men, invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. All right. And one thing that the guy that was breaking down the bill was going into in the video is that all these people that voted for Nero were promised certain things. And, he's pretty much just been doing what these bankers want him to do. It's no different with these politicians, man. Whether it's a Democrat or a Republican, they all work for the same people, all right? And they all are going to carry out the agenda of the ruling elite, and that's just what it is. All right, it doesn't matter. They can put whatever face they want to put on it. The outcome is going to be the same, and that's what a lot of these people that had hope in Nero are beginning to understand, and that's going to turn into bitterness and an overall hatred for all elected officials and all authority figures. And people are not going to be wanting to listen to what they say, and people are also going to be motivated to come against these individuals and lay hold on some of them. All right, that's just the reality. All right, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able because of martial law, for because of their pride the city shall be troubled and the house is destroyed and the men shall be afraid. It's going to be a terrible time, man. Death is going to be all around. Martial law is going to be here, so people aren't going to be able to really move around like that. People are going to be starving, which is going to cause them to do crazy things to feed their flesh. And it's just going to be all out anarchy. And that's going to put fear in everybody, Verse 15, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. All right, and that's, when you're starving, you're going to get it how you live. And that's what these people are getting ready to do. All right, the vast majority of these Americans have never experienced poverty. Of course, Jake has, but these Edomites, they can't handle it. These other heathens, they might be from an impoverished situation in their homeland, but after they come over here to this country and build themselves up financially and live a certain way for a certain period of time, they forget about that, man, and they don't remember what it's like to go through that. All right, and it's going to drive them crazy. All right. Behold, saith Yahweh, I will call together all the kings of the earth to reverence me, which are from the rising of the sun from the south, from the east and Libnus, and turn them one against another, and repay the things that they have done to them. All right, so World War III, like I said, is going to be happening in the midst of all of this. All the kings of the earth are going to be fighting one another, and it's just going to be death all around the world, man. All right, and the Lord is going to be doing this for the controversy of Zion. All right, for his elect. You 2/3, you're going to pay the price for coming against the men of the Lord. You heathens, you're going to pay the price for coming against the Israelites, which include the men of the Lord and even these 2/3, The Lord is going to make all of you people pay for the wrongs that you've done. And it's going to happen in a very theatric and gruesome fashion. And we right at the door. All right, we're going to go to this next chapter real quick. And let's see. All right, Khan. This is 2nd Esdras 16 and 14. Behold, the plagues are sent and shall not return again until they come upon the earth. All right, so once this shit is already in motion and it's not going to turn back. There is not going to be any saving this place. There's not going to be no saving this kingdom, this society, none of that. All right, once the Lord really starts this machine moving, which it's already happening, there is no turning back. All right, the fire is kindled and shall not be put out till it consume the foundation of the earth. So now that this shit is started, it ain't going to be over until this place is destroyed and the kingdom is established, and that's that. All right, like an arrow which is shot of a mighty archer returneth not backward, even so the plagues that shall be sent upon the earth shall not return again. All right, so once again, it's not going to be no bounce back when this shit happens, man. It's not going to be like the Great Depression where people was fucked up for a decade or however long that lasted, and then eventually World War II happened and it brought everybody out of it. That's not going to happen. All right, it's not going to be like the recession in 2008 where, people was fucked up for a couple years and then it eventually bounced back. This time it's going to be a knockout punch for good on this kingdom, man. It says, woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? And the answer is Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. And he's only going to deliver his men and his elect. All right. And once again, all of which are Israelites, you Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and you speckled birds who lineage on your father's side goes back to Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and the 12 patriarchs of the 12 tribes of Israel, all right? If you don't go back to that bloodline, regardless of how you look, if you don't go back to that bloodline, you're not going to make it, all right? And 2/3 of the people that do go back to that bloodline are also not going to make it because they have gone after the ways of this devil and Esau and are wicked, okay? Which is why we're doing this work and praying to the Lord that he have mercy on us, because the things that are about to happen, you're going to need the Spirit of the Lord, not just to be able to get delivered and survive, but to be able to see and move throughout all this shit happening and not lose your mind. You're going to need a different spirit on you, man, because it's going to be a lot of gruesome shit going on everywhere. Everywhere you turn, shit is going to be popping off, and it's not going to be pretty, all right? The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the powers shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? All right. And like I said, this is just a catalyst for all of the things that are about to kick off, man. The sedition, World War III, the MOTB being implemented and mandated. All right. And of course, the grand finale, the thermonuclear fire and chariot fire that is going to come to this place upon Yahweh return, man. All right. And you know, what shall I do when these evils shall come? Well, you better hope that you're in the good graces of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai and that he has mercy on you. All right, if you're not in that, if your name is not written in the book of life, you're not going to make it, man. All right, you're going to have to die on this side if you're an Israelite, and you'll be born into the kingdom again. If you're a heathen or an Edomite, which is also a heathen, you know, hey, man, this place is getting destroyed. If you survive, you're getting put in captivity on the first round. All right, and then you're going to have to deal with 1,000 years of captivity. If you're an Edomite, after that 1,000 years, you'll be destroyed, and your spirits will be mingled among the other nations. If you're of the other nations, after that 1,000 years, you'll be allowed to go to your allotted lands and be tributaries to the nation of Israel in perpetuity. All right. It says, behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. All right, this place is wicked. These people been going off, and they don't want to repent. Now, of course, everybody has gone off on this earth, all right? All the men of the Lord are men that have transgressed the law at one point or another in their life. But the difference is that those of us who are sincere and of the hopeful elect have repented and are trying our best to stay in the right and keep the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of our ability, while also doing the Lord's work and teaching and preaching his gospel to wake up the elect so that we can get out of here, all right? The rest of you people that are not participating in that, as far as you Israelites, you are 2/3 and you're going to get destroyed, and your destruction is going to be for an amendment for all the wicked shit you've done. As far as you heathens and Edomites, you're going to get destroyed and put into slavery because like I said, some of them are not going to get destroyed when these nukes come. It's going to be heathens all over the earth, but they still going to get put into slavery. The ones that get destroyed will be born back into the kingdom and be put into slavery. All right, for amendment, because of the things that they've done to us, because of the controversy of Zion. All right, and they overall, what's it called? Their overall enmity with Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. All right, this is verse 20. But for all these things they say, Salakia, but for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. All right, so guess what? Even with us telling these people that all of this is coming, they still not going to repent. All right. And that's why the Lord is coming back and has to destroy this place, because that's the only thing that's going to set it right. But with that being said, we're going to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai Bashem Rakak Wadash, double honors to the apostles, the elders, and the men of great millstone. Shalom to the Akim and a few Akwatu may be listening. Lord willing, this was an edifying lesson. Until next time, Kwam Yasharala Wa Abab.